If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Maybe I think we'll start the sessions. Okay, so hi team. Okay, I'm Chintan here, and we are going to have a BTP trainings together. Okay, for next couple of weeks, and we are going to learn about the BTP, about the types of it, about the pillars of it. Then we are going to do the hands-on session on the CAPM side, and we are also going to learn about the what is in-app extensibility, side-by-side extensibility, and the Cloud Foundry part, all about whatever environments we are having. Okay, and apart from that, we are also going to learn about the CI/CD part of it. Okay, so and along with me, we also have Yamini, who is also a trainer. Okay, we have with us, and maybe we'll start with introductions with the probably with the Aditya. So when you are doing introductions, please let us know what is your experience in SAP Fiori and SAP BTP, so that we'll have some idea, right? That what kind of knowledge you are already having, and how we need to pitch in. Okay, if you are proposing, if you are trying to start with any kind of introduction of the topics, and how we need to take it up. So that will help us a lot.
So Chintan, Braj is here actually. So Chintan, what I think that BTP is like basically to make a rule based on that rule. Actually, there are some data manipulation or like we need to filter out the data kind of thing actually. So
Okay. Anybody else?
Basically, SAP BTP is Business Technology Platform. It's a platform where whatever development we used to do, like everyone is moving to cloud services and cloud application. No one is working on the basic desktop app. They are moving to browser-based apps. So BTP, we can leverage all those things and we can create the Fiori apps and we can go to browsers, mobile phones, and all the mobile devices. Would help us to build and develop our application and upload into the server to be accessed through any system or any browser or mobile phone.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, hi, Chintan, Naveen here. According to me, BTP is a platform as a service. It provides a platform to host different type of services, uh, which can be leveraged as a part of SAP can upgrade its provided services on a periodically, like on a periodic basis. So in that way, latest technologies, latest features can be provided to the customers, and it can be hosted, by the client by providing a couple subscription basis or different type of subscription model. So that's what I know about BTP.
Okay, you are also right. Okay, anybody else would like to try it out?
Hi Chintan. For my knowledge, BTP is an innovation platform for the optimized for SAP application in the cloud.
So guys, let me tell you, all of you are already aware of SAP BTP. Okay, so I'm not sure whether okay, when I'm saying this one, okay, you already undergone that. Some people are already undergone the training of SAP BTP or SAP Fiori part of it, right? And when SAP Fiori started, it started in 2010. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, because you already undergone the training of SAP Fiori, so I understand that you already been informed about this. Okay, so SAP journey inside the cloud, it started from 2010. Okay, and the first name was HANA Cloud Platform. Okay, and then it was renamed probably in 2015-16 SAP Cloud Platform. Okay, and in 2021 they renamed the same platform as a 2020 as a SAP BTP in 2021. Okay, gradually when we say how when we release the new product, right, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, they rename the product name, but it's origin is HANA Cloud Platform, which started in 2010, and you guys already have Fiori training, so you know SAP BTP. It is just a niche product of it, maybe couple of data features, but you are not aware of it. And as per our today's agenda, we are only going to talk about SAP BTP only. Okay, so probably it may be repetitive for you, but this is today's agenda, what we need to follow. Okay, so what was the need of for SAP, to rename the products as a SAP BTP? There might be some kind of new features, new services, or maybe something new has been come up, right? As you are already aware of it, about the Fiori part of it, I'm just asking you. Let's just try to see what we are aware of it.
I think we have aware on artificial intelligence added in it, and the Internet of Things, and the basic this blockchain technology, like this technology add on in it.
Yes,
So
you
we
are right.
have, yeah.
Earlier when a HANA Cloud Platform started, none of these features were available. Okay. Guys, please speak up. This is not a one-way session. Anybody else want to add some more points? Okay. So when SAP renamed SAP Cloud Platform to SAP BTP in 2021, okay, they decided to package the multiple services and products into one platform, okay, that business could run to make the business decisions, okay. And you might be aware, right? Earlier we have a maybe SAP Conversational AI. We had the SAP Leonardo services offering was there when it was a SAP Cloud Platform, okay. But now when we see it, right, all the combinations of services are also getting merged, and it is being offered as a package. And when I say as a package, okay, when you say, right, SAP workflow management service, right, so it's a combinations of multiple services, okay. It comprises of SAP business full service, SAP workflow service. So they're trying to focus, okay, that the services can be offered as a package to the customer, okay, which can be achieved for the business functionality specific scenarios, okay. And they're also trying to bring in, as Ajit is saying, right, they're also trying to bring in more AI related features, okay. They had these features earlier as services being offered. For some reason they discontinued it, okay, and they are trying to replace with one or other way. Okay. Recently, maybe if you are aware of it, right, they started with the SAP BPA, business build process automations. Okay, that is the combinations of um, IRPA plus business full service, and multiple things, multiple services are being offered inside that one. Okay. What else, guys? Did we had, okay, when we had the first round of Fiori applications launch as part of HANA Cloud Platform, right? Do we have any kind of smart templates?
Fiori element.
Fiori elements was not there at that moment. When I'm talking about 2010, 11, 12, Aditya, Aditya, sorry. Okay. Okay. Fiori elements comes, okay, with the SAP Cloud Platform, okay, and they are changing the fundamentals of it, okay, with the templates, other things with the SAP BTP as well. But it was also there in SAP Cloud Platform.
Okay.
Yeah. Guys, please speak up. This is the things you already aware of it. That is the reason I'm asking you, and we are discussing it with each other. Okay. Fine then. Okay. So what are the types of SAP BTP, guys? Can anybody? Gaurav?
Also, it's the cloud service which they have the public and hybrid platform as well. And
Okay, what do you mean by public and hybrid?
but that's shared resources like so how your application are being stored on those servers.
How?
Not sure that's the right types of BTP.
But exactly what do you mean by public and hybrid?
Because BTP is a cloud platform. It's basically the cloud platform. So we have different type of cloud application, like cloud servers. Like it's a public server where everyone can access the applications. Hybrid where some will be public and some will be on with restrictions, and the private server where only once you have authorization you can access those applications.
Okay, I
Correct,
got your
correct.
point.
To add to that, yeah, sorry for interrupting. To add to Gaurav's point, actually, what he was trying to say was like, we have different accounts based upon subscription model, like based upon how much the client is ready to invest in a particular account, like, and based upon that model, SAP provides different type of services, like maybe it is a shared model or a private model.
Fine. Okay. So let me tell you, okay, we have whatever you are discussing, that is the models of it, right? What are the models by which we can deploy the applications, and how we can access, and what are the possibilities of it. Types, when we say the types of SAP BTP, it always there are two types we have it. One thing is we have a new environment, we have a cloud foundry environment, and just starting with the SAP BTP, we have a ABAP and the Kima also. Okay, and so these are the major types
Sorry to
what we
interrupt.
have.
SAP ABAP and
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, we have majorly so far it's been Neo and CF, which are it really in use for the productive usage. Okay, and we do have ABAP and Kima also, KYMA Kima. Okay, and people are it is not as famous for the implementations for CF and Neo. Okay, Neo is getting obsolete, and even gradually SAP is focusing more on the Kima side of it. Okay, so it's about how we are deploying our applications, okay, or whatever solutions we have built it, where we are deploying it, and how we are publishing it, the environments. Okay, so that are the types of SAP BTP. Okay. Neo, Cloud Foundry, ABAP, and Kima. Okay, and during your journey of the SAP Fiori training, right, you must have heard about this. So why do we, what is the difference between the new environment and the Cloud Foundry environment? Okay, is anybody?
On Neon Cloud Foundry, I would use it when it was SAP Cloud Platform, where we have you were using web IDs to develop. Neo was a free trial version provided by SAP, and Cloud Foundry was paid version, which has more applications and more tools available for development.
Okay, Neo does have the productive usage also. Okay, because when SAP started with the HANA Cloud Platform, okay, and even SAP Cloud Platform, there are many customers or partners were using the new environment for the productive usage. Okay, So initially when HANA Cloud Platform launched, it was only and only the new environment was present at that moment. Okay. Gradually, they feel they need to open up the environment for the Cloud Foundry, okay, so that even the non-SAP applications, okay, can also be deployed to the Cloud Foundry space. Okay. How about the ABAP environment? Maybe the guys who have good experience in ABAP can answer this part. Why do we need ABAP environment?
So most of the SAP's applications are built on like standard applications, or all those applications are built on SAP ABAP. And most of the SAP developers are experienced in ABAP, not in JavaScript or cloud applications. So backend, and now they have introduced ABAP on cloud as well. So backend, we are still having all those applications and backend in ABAP code written. So using that knowledge of ABAPers, they don't get behind all those things, and they can merge with this new technology. So ABAP platform is still available. So we can have backend applications running with ABAP, and we can work also in those BTP.
That is the good part. But why do we need ABAP in BTP?
As a platform as a service, it can reach to the customers at their end easily, so that I think without installing any applications in their network, in their IaaS, infrastructure as a service. As a platform as a service, it has some futures in it.
Yeah, and also like for developing various types of applications for which ABAP is the programming language that is hosted in a BTP in the form of app.
Okay. So if I need to do a ABAP coding in BTP, okay, it is a normal ABAP, or do I have a syntax different, or what they to call it?
Yeah, basically, there are few whitelisted objects that is hosted on a cloud by SAP, and we can only work on those kind of objects through cloud. That's what I know.
Okay. Have you heard about the RAP?
Yes, yes.
Okay, RESTful ABAP programming model. So yes, we
Correct.
do have syntax different, not major one, but slightly, okay, from our traditional ABAP. Okay, and with the help of RAP, we can do the coding, ABAP coding inside the ABAP environment, basically. Okay.
Yeah, using that email model, right?
Yes. Okay. So let's start. Okay, so this is what our agenda is. We have the, I hope my screen is visible, right, guys? With the PPT is visible?
Yes, that's visible.
Yeah, it's
Okay, good. So, okay, so basic platform concepts, solution and services, regions, what we have, environments, enterprise trial accounts, okay, commercial models and account models, okay, entitlements, quotas, user member management, tools programming API. So when we talk about this part, right, regions, environments, entitlements, user management, right? So this will all comes to picture, right, when we are doing the BTP admin part of it. Okay, so the person will create the directory, it will create the sub accounts, create the spaces, and we will give you the access of the specific service inside the BTP, so that you can leverage that service to develop something. Okay, so it is pretty simple. Okay, anybody can do that. Regions, environments, entitlement, quotas, part of it. We everybody knows, right? SAP provides the trial account and the enterprise accounts. Trial account is free of cost, with come with some kind of limitations for each service. There is a various limitations they are offering it. And when we talk about the enterprise options, okay, it will come with the cost, and there is no limitations. Okay, and we can try to leverage that service, and we can build our solution, and we can deploy it also. So trial account is useful to build POC and not for productive usage, and the enterprise accounts can be used for the productive usage. Okay, and even for developers, if they want to try out something, they want to learn something by themselves. Okay, SAP is also offering the trial account so that we can do something. Okay, tools, programming models, APIs. Okay, we are going to learn. Okay, the account structures, it's fine. Cloud providers. Okay, so how many cloud providers do we have? And what does it? Why do we have cloud providers for SAP BTP? Maybe Manjari, would you like to try out?
We have different types of cloud providers, maybe like Amazon, Azure,
Yes.
and SAP also has its own cloud provider.
Yes, that is true. So basically, okay, but why do we have different types of cloud providers? Uh,
It's because basically a different type of services provided by the individual vendors, like based upon subscription model or different features, and also depending upon the servers where they are located. So whenever a client wants to go for a particular cloud provider, so all these factors the client takes into consideration before buying the service of a particular cloud provider.
okay. Okay. So we do have AWS, we do have GCP, we have Azure also. Okay, and yeah, we have one more also. Okay, which we are going to see it in coming up. Okay. Uh, On-premise to public cloud connectivity. Okay, so why do we need to connect on-premise with BTP?
For hosting the applications which are on premise to the public through the cloud connector. Maybe.
Okay, and how are we going to do that?
Yeah, maybe through RFC connections we can connect our on-premise applications like S4 HANA applications or application SAP HANA applications to the RFC. We connect to the cloud connector, and then through destinations maybe we can connect our apps that are hosted on a particular account, BTP account.
Okay, fine. Okay, database, data management. Okay. So we do have, HANA Cloud as a database, as a service offered by SAP inside the SAP BTP. Okay. Even for analytics, we have a couple of services. Application development integrations, we all know we have Web ID, we have used the BAS. Okay, and we are coming up with the SAP Build also. Intelligence technologies. Okay, so there are a couple of services which SAP offered. Okay, and they call it as intelligent technologies and advantages of it. Okay, let's try to move on. Okay, so basically what is SAP BTP? So it that SAP BTP is a platform. It comprises of all the services. Okay, how many services we have? Okay, if you go to here, right, this is a discovery center. If you go to here, okay, 96 services is offered by SAP in a BTP. Okay, and when you see this portal, this is a SAP Discovery Center. Okay, and when you click on services, service catalog, okay, there are 96 services are there, which is being offered by SAP. And believe me, when you visit maybe quarterly, okay, there are few services will be gone and there are new services will be added. Okay, and not all the services are offered as a free, right? The free services are there. If you want to just click here, right? So all these free services will be listed down here. So out of 96, there are 60 services are free, okay, and rest 26 services are not free. SAP is not providing free of cost. Okay, you need to subscribe it. Okay, so and this is the always you will get the latest counts and whatever is there, all the services, the details of it. Okay, everything will be able to see it over here. So if you want to see something, right, let me check it out. I want to try it out, SAP IRP. Okay, so that service is free tier, but it is retiring soon. Okay, so do we have a different service with that one? SAP. This service is okay. The SAP BPA, it's a replacement of SAP IRP service. Okay, so we do have a free tier available for SAP BPA. Okay, and when I go to HANA Cloud, so this is the database as a service offered by SAP inside the BTP. So when I click on it, okay, so I can see, right, it's a free tier. I can check this service as a free of cost. Okay, free tier. And apart from that, I can also try to create a database instance in my trial account, and I can try out something. So that is possible. Okay, and they do give for each and every services. Okay, likewise, SAP HANA Cloud Platform, single liner. Okay, and what is the overall about the SAP HANA Cloud as a database as a service, and just some snapshot of overall DB features what they are offering it. Okay, and they do offer, okay, the different architecture sometimes. Okay, it's not clickable. Yeah, and all the resources, tutorials, certificates, everything will be listed down here. So they are making it so simple. Okay, that anybody can check the service. What does it do? What are the learning materials? Okay, what are the pricing of it? Okay, and related mentions. Okay, what are the roadmap of it? What does this mean? SAP as a company, they are focusing on these are the tasks. Okay, in the Q1 release 2023, Q2 release 2023, and they are working on these things. This is a tentative snapshot. It may change without any notice. Okay, but yeah, this is what they would like to integrate in coming quarters as part of this feature, as part of this service. Okay, and these are the some of the customer stories what they have, we have it. Okay, so these are the customers who are using this service, and this is the snapshot of it. So everything at one place. Okay, coming back to the pricing, right, as we were discussing about the different regions, okay, and different cloud providers. Okay, so here we have AWS and Microsoft Azure. We have only two. Okay, but if I go to some other service, okay, here we do have a Google Cloud also. Okay, okay, and let me go to some other service. Let's see how many providers do we have. Okay, here also we have only three providers: AWS, Azure, and GCP. Okay, earlier we used to had the Alibaba also. Now it is not there. Okay, so they keep changing the environment. And what does this mean? This service, okay, is running on these platforms. Okay, these are the service providers. Okay, on which they are supporting the data centers. Okay, on which this service is being deployed. Okay, and when you check this out, right, let's say add the estimator. Okay, I need to click it over here. Okay, so I'll select AWS. Okay, so it cost here Australia AWS cost 24 euros, but when I go to Azure, here also both are same. Okay, and when I go to your Frankfurt, okay, so maybe it look like, for this particular service, the cost is going to be same across the part of it. Okay, but sometimes we get different costing even from the different providers. Okay, and yeah, for the different regions also we do tend to get this part. And why do we need the data centers? All these are the data centers, right, at the different locations. Maybe can anybody would like to try it out?
Maybe for faster access to the data.
Can you repeat, please?
Maybe for accessing the data faster, because if you have a server nearby, it can take a less time to fetch the data and post the data.
Definitely, the latency should be good one, right? So if you have the
Yes,
data
yes.
center nearby, you will have less latency, and your performance of the applications or the overall process, executions would be faster, right? Yeah.
And also there might be some legal requirements that the data center should be in the particular country. So that also.
Definitely, you are absolutely right. Sorry, who is this?
Aditya.
Aditya, yeah. So definitely, okay. When you're saying this one, okay, we had one of the requirements from France or Germany, right? They okay, and we were implementing the solutions for the pharmaceutical company, and we had the patient details also. So that was the requirement from the it was a country specific requirement that we cannot store any kind of sensitive data, like patient data, maybe and other things, okay, outside the country database. So we have to select, okay, we have to select the specific data center, and we need to deploy our all the data over there. So in order to do that, we have to select we need to create a new sub account and the space, right? And we need to deploy our HANA Cloud instance in that sub accounts. We need to set up, configure, we need to create the tables, and we need to push all the data to that specific region data center only. Okay, not all the countries have those kind of requirement, but whenever do have a sensitive data, likewise patient data, and sometimes the financial are also very much sensitive data, right? So based on country's legal requirement, we need to follow that part, and okay, we have to select the data center accordingly, the region accordingly. Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, so okay, my intention is we have all the services here listed here. Okay, and when you see all the services, right, so okay, I have filtered it, that is the reason. Okay, but yeah, if you select the data and analytics, okay, so these are the 13 services what we have. When you talk about the application and automations, okay, that by which you need to do some kind of development, right? So these are the services which we have it. Okay, so we have the web ID also, we have the SAP build applications also, uh, we have agentry, ABAP environment, everything is, it's purely from the development point of view. Does anybody know why do we need why SAP introduced the SAP build applications? This is a recent one, and that is the replacement of some other service which SAP was offering earlier. Okay, that is fine. You can have a question. Okay, so as part of database and data management, okay, we do have data quality services, we do have master data governance, object store. Okay, when we say object store, it means, if we want to store any kind of documents, right, we can leverage the object store service. Okay, we do have data intelligence also. Okay. Anything which contains with the data, right, all these services are for developments which is being offered by SAP BTP out of the box. Okay, and as you know, clearly called out, free tier and the paid services. Based on that, we can try to leverage. Guys, anything else? Okay, this is the AI one. Okay, so these are the services being offered. Earlier we used to had a lot of more services, but now the services are being limited here. Okay, so just a minute, sorry. Okay, so when we talk about SAP BTP, right, all these are the pillars. Okay, and all these are the main components. Okay, which offers different components are offering different services, and SAP BTP is providing different services inside one platform, which can do the end-to-end, client. We can achieve the client business requirement of it. So database management, analytics, integration, extension capability into one platform, cloud and hybrid environments. Sorry. Okay. And we can, pre-built integrations is also there. Okay. So if you want to connect with the multiple on-premise systems, multiple SAP systems, if you want to connect with the multiple non-SAP systems also, we can make it happen. Okay. The connectors are already there. And for Fiori, as you are already aware of SAP Fiori, right? In that case, SAP is also providing the templates. Likewise, for Fiori, I will give you one more examples here. Okay, that SAP build process automation is there. For SAP build process automation, SAP is giving hundreds of bots, uh, pre-built bots available for the people to consume it. Okay, they do not have to build the bots. Okay, and if they want to extend the bots, extend the standard of it, you can open the bot, you can extend it, you can redeploy it. Okay, and you are ready to run. Okay, so SAP is also offering a lot of pre-built content inside different services. Okay, by which the productivity, the development can be much more faster. Okay, and we can achieve the business functionality, okay, much faster. Okay, that is the idea of this one. Okay, so we already seen this part, right? So analytics, okay, augmented BI, we have collaborative planning, predictive analytics, data warehousing we can do. Okay, and database data management. What is data pipeline, guys? What is data pipeline? Guys, please pick it out. Okay, nobody's going to beat you. We are just trying to understand, right? It may be right, it may be wrong. That's fine. Has anybody aware of it? Any idea?
Sending the information from one end to other end, giving the priority to which data sends first. I think so.
That is true. That is partially true. Yes. Anybody else would like to try it out?
Maybe like it is for the CI and CD model of SAP.
Okay, but probably not in this context, but you are right. Okay. So when we say data pipeline, right, here in these terms, okay, see, we have a data lakes, right? And what is data lakes? Okay, in a nutshell, we have, terabytes of data, petabytes of data. Okay, and ideally, every time we cannot replicate the data. Okay, and we can process on top of it. Okay, so if I want to have data from one system, okay, I cannot pull all the data, and I need to join couple of more fields from the another table. Okay, I'll pull the data from that table, and I will again process it. It is much more the processing power would be required much. And sometimes also, if we need to do such a large scale operations, okay, sometimes we need to replicate the data. But if you keep replicating the data of terabytes, petabytes, that is not suitable also, right? So what SAP is proposing, and even the other hyperscaler like AWS, GCP, Azure also providing us the pipelines, okay, by which we can connect one system. Okay, we can pull the required data. Okay, we can connect with the other multiple systems, SAP, non-SAP systems, and we can also process on the data, and we can complete the actions. Okay, so we really do not need to do any kind of data replications. Okay, because if you do the data replications, and the source is getting changed, or there are some more entries, okay, your new destinations, the new data set would be obsolete. Instead of doing data replications, why don't, if we have the large set of data, okay, which we need to connect, okay, and we need to process, we need to transform the data in order to achieve our desired functionalities. Okay, we can use the data pipeline in real time. Okay, so that in real time the data will be fetched, even if it is in a terabytes, petabytes data. Okay, from one systems we can connect with the multiple other systems, we can process the data, we can transform the data, and we can get the output, and we can display that output. Okay, so now coming back to the virtualizations, we have data governance, we have master data governance, storage processing, we have object store, we have a SAP HANA Cloud, we have connect management. Okay, so we have different kind of uh, connectors also, data orchestrations also. Guys, anybody tell me what is orchestrations? Okay, so see, orchestration, data orchestration is very simplified term, right? It's the automated process of taking the data from multiple locations, multiple systems, okay, combining, organizing, and we can, make it available for the analysis part of it. Okay, so it can be a scheduled also, it can be a runtime also. We can make it happen. Okay, it depends on how what is the requirement we are having. Okay. Coming back to the intelligent technologies, okay, we have data driven insights, we have SAP IRPA. Okay, we have AI, we have IoT clouds and edge, right? If we go to here, okay, we click here AI, right? So these are the 11 services we have from SAP. Out of 11, 3 are getting obsolete. So we are having 8 services now. Okay, and our these 8 services which we can try to leverage, and which they call it SAP BTP, call it as the AI services, and each one has a different kind of business angles to look at it. Okay, the business entity recognitions. Okay, so when you have unstructured text, okay, you can get it derived. Okay, out of this unstructured text you can exactly get what are the entities, what you need to map it, and you can derive that. Okay, so if I say, right, I want to go to maybe some location, right, Tokyo or somewhere. So maybe when you try to task maybe unstructured text to that entity, it will also capture a couple of entities by default. If it is the data is there, or date is there, location is there, right, all these pre-built mapping of country, dates, everything is already been, aligned to this one. Okay. And when we say, right, document information extractions, okay, so you can upload the entire document and you can get the data out of the document. That is also possible. Okay. So you can, if you have the tabular content inside the document, okay, so you can also get the table data out of your document, which is in unstructured text. Okay. And you can get your entire table from the document, you can extract and you can process on those data. That is possible. Okay. Translation is as it's been simplified, right? So if you have multiple languages, okay, if you want to convert maybe English to German, German to French, maybe some other language, right, and maybe French to English, anything is translation hub will be able to do that. Okay. So these are the 11 services which SAP tagged as a AI services under BTP part of it. Okay, and here we talk about the integrations with integration BPM, enterprise solution, and digital experience. We have it. Guys, any questions? Anything, you have something in your mind?
Chintan, I'm not clear about that environment, Neo and Kima.
Okay.
Will we see any practical example means going forward in the next classes?
See, definitely we are going to have practical examples of this environment, but we are focusing more on the Cloud Foundry part of it. Neo and the differences probably will be able to, deep dive further, Aditya.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me also tell you, okay, the Neo was a proprietary of SAP. Okay, it is getting decommissioned, and it was started when SAP started its cloud journey with the HANA Cloud Platform in 2010. So earlier it was only a one environment. You create your applications, okay, Fiori applications and UFI applications inside the HANA Cloud Platform, and you have only one choice to deploy, which is the Neo environment. Okay, at that moment there was a not a Cloud Foundry was enabled at that moment. Okay, but later on SAP thought, right, SAP envisioned that probably they need to open up the landscape, the environment, so that Cloud Foundry, okay, if we have our code, okay, they called it bring your own language. Okay, likewise we can deploy our Java code, we can deploy our Node.js code, React, AngularJS code inside the Cloud Foundry. That is possible in Cloud Foundry, which was not possible in Neo environment. Okay, and even these technologies, okay, and the coding inside the Java, Angular, React, Node, right, it can communicate with your OData service, it can communicate with your on-premise SAP on-premise systems, and it can fetch the data, it can consume the OData services, and it can give you the results. So that is also possible. So they are not only limiting to the SAP UI5 part of it, but if you have your own language, okay, and if customer would like to create something on Angular or React, yes, that is possible with the Cloud Foundry environment. And deployment is also very different. In Neo, it was very straightforward. Cloud Foundry, that is also straightforward, but slightly a different one. Okay, so this is the difference between Neo and Cloud Foundry, Aditya.
Okay, means earlier we had only ABAP. Is it so? Like only through ABAP we can do?
No. Okay. When we need to deploy our any kind of UI5 Fiori applications code, we had only one choice, which is the Neo environment. Okay. In ABAP environment, we can deploy only the ABAP code only. Okay. If you want to deploy our any kind of Fiori or UI5 code or Angular Node.js code inside the ABAP environment, that is not feasible. Even the ABAP code cannot be deployed in any other environment, because ABAP is very native language to the SAP. It can only be deployed to the ABAP environment if we need to do any kind of coding inside the BTP side of it. Aditya.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Chintan, I have one question here.
Yeah, Naveen.
Yeah, regarding what is the difference between this like this kind of like new and cloud foundry hosting services and the C4C kind of a model that SAP is providing to its premium customers. So, what is the difference between these two models?
What are the models, Naveen?
C4C, cloud for customer nowadays. SAP is providing C4C also, right, to its customers. They provide a separate login to the that C4C, and then we can do development on that also. It's a different kind of a portal. So, is it different than all this Cloud Foundry and new? And what is that type of a model?
See, SAP C4C Cloud for Customer is completely different from the SAP BTP. Okay, and that is the C4C. If I'm not wrong, that is the it is the enhanced version of this SAP CRM. Naveen.
Okay. It's like a software only,
Yeah.
web-based
So
software.
just like we have a Salesforce, the different cloud product, we have a right.
Correct.
We have success factor. No, sorry, not success factor. Yeah. Yeah. So we have success factor. We have Ariba. Likewise, C4C is also different cloud product offered by SAP, but that is not aligning with the SAP BTP. SAP
Yeah,
BTP is
that means
different. Okay.
correct. That means it's like a part of a software as a service provided by SAP.
I would call it as a product as a service.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So C4C is a product. Okay, it's a CRM product which is being offered by SAP to its partner customer. Okay, and it is a complete product. Okay, and this talks about from marketing to sales and services. Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Fine. So we talked about the Cloud Foundry ABAP environment and Kima environment and the different regions. Also, we have seen it right here. We have a lot of different regions when we select any kind of. Okay, I'll go one more time. Okay, I'll choose this one, business entity. Okay, I'll go to pricing for a moment. Okay, so these are the different regions we have under one of the provider. For AWS we have 1, 2, 3, 4 regions are available. Okay, so all these are called as the region. Okay, and yeah, so SAP BTP platform cockpit, okay, is the centralized locations by which you can access all the services. Okay, you can make it available for the developers also. Okay, now this is the general idea of SAP BTP. Okay, and the basic hierarchy of it. So we have SAP BTP. We need to have, okay, there will be only one global account. Okay, and within that we can have multiple directories, we can have multiple sub accounts, and even inside the directory we can have the sub accounts. Okay, and within the sub accounts we can have the region, and in that region, okay, all the services and applications tools, it is configured to that environment and the sub account part of it. Okay, and there can be only one global account by which we can do all kind of selection of the services, which we can procure it, we can make it available for the respective sub accounts. Okay, guys, any questions on this?
What are entitlements?
Okay, I can show you that.
So Chetan, in tool section we can include CPI and PO.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Chintan. So in tools we can include CPI and PO tools here.
CPI is a different part of it. Okay, so here you will not be able to see anything regarding CPI part of it.
Okay.
Okay, CPI is different. Okay, so when we talk about the entitlements, right? So entitlements, if you want to give access to the, these are the entitlements. Okay. Okay, here we do not have any entities. Let's see what we have it. Okay. So in one global account, okay, whatever the services you have chosen, okay, let's say this one above environment, okay, assignment, you have done the assignment, but you have not used it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so everything is available here. So in one global account, you will have multiple sub accounts. Sub accounts can be at a different region level. Okay. Likewise, right? Somebody said, right, that if we need to have a country specific requirement, if we need to have a people are, customers are from US, we can have one of the region in US. If we are using maybe France or maybe patient, maybe sensitive data, in that case, we need to use the landscape, the region of the French region or German region, right? So if you have the multiple regions, okay, we have one sub account, one global account, and all those services belonging to different regions, okay, it will be listed down here and we can see everything here.
Okay. All right.
Okay, these are the entities, okay, these are the services part of it. Okay, and here we can see what are the quotas assignment and what is the consumptions also, that also we can see it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
welcome. Okay, so platform users, they will have different types of accounts and titles. We will have it. We have different region. We have an environment. Okay, we have quotas. Okay, quotas we already seen it. And for each environment, we are having the services, applications, tools, and the business users. Okay. So SAP BTP offers, right, so fast in memory processing, sustainable agile solution, and services to integrate the data, extend applications, and fully embedded analytics intelligence technologies. Okay, so when we say all this, right, all these are available, the functionalities are available as one or other services inside the BTP. Okay, and when I talk about one of the part of it, we have a HANA Cloud, right, which is on cloud, the database as a service inside the BTP. So if you have your applications, theory applications, okay, deployed inside the BTP, and the data source is BTP HANA Cloud, which is also inside the cloud and on the same BTP platform, okay, you do not have to reach out. Your application does not have to reach out to on-premise systems to get the data. Everything is available inside the cloud in one single platform. You can get the data, you can process the data, and you can also display the data inside your Fiori application. So the processing would be much more faster, right? And even the HANA database work as an in-memory processing, right? So when you create the procedures, stored procedures in HANA database, will the calculations will be happening inside the DB layer itself. It will not be happening inside the application layer. Okay, application layer or API layer. It is inside the DB layer. Okay, that is the concept for the HANA database. Okay, so overall executions, overall turnaround time for applications, right, it would be much more faster. Okay, and it's just one of the examples in memory processing. I took the example of the HANA Cloud part of it. Okay, let's say if you have some scenarios, okay, for which you have to create some bots. Okay, so in order to have it, okay, SAP is offering pre-built bots. Okay, and even those bots are working inside the BTP platform. Your database is BTP. Okay, so your bot will take the data from your cloud platform, HANA Cloud, which is on BTP. It will process the data. It will, do certain actions. Maybe it has to trigger some emails. It has to validate something. If it has to find out certain, issues inside the database, or maybe some kind of processes, right? And okay, it can create some kind of results for you, right? So everything inside the cloud. Okay, so BTP offers how many services, guys? Yes, how many
96.
services? 96, right? So each service is having a different purpose of it. Okay, everything at one centralized locations. Okay, and it can talk to each other. All the services talk to each other. And when I say talk to each other, means, if you have fewer applications which is deployed to BTP, it can talk to HANA Cloud. That is the way. Okay, not in a literal meaning of it. Fine. So yeah, so everything in one centralized location, the execution, the performance will be much faster. Okay, and yeah, any questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
Is that you said that our services are of 96. If I go on to one service, the service is in crash condition. Is there any availability of service in cloud itself, depending
Sorry,
upon the
Ajit,
reasons like that?
if the service is,
If the service is crashed, means if you're using one service, it has been crashed in itself in the cloud. Is there any backup of the service is available inside the cloud like that? Is there?
so when you have, okay, all these services are offered by SAP itself. Okay, and the availability of the services are also very high. Okay, so I'm not, sometimes we may get glitches. Okay, sometimes services are not available. Maybe SAP itself is working on something, or some issues happen. So for those couple of durations, the services may be down. But apart from that, we don't see issues, because it have been heavily tested multiple times before going to the production usage. Even they have clearly called out the beta version of it, alpha version of it, and then they make it as the official available for the production part of it. Ajit.
Yeah, okay.
Guys, do we need a break now?
Yes.
Okay, maybe we will have a 10-minute break.
Before going on break, actually, I have one question.
Yeah, please, Rajesh.
Chintan, as you said that because SAP frequently change that their application, some of the application will be available now actually, and tomorrow it may be vanish or something. So let's say suppose we are using some application that has been like discarded from SAP. So how we can handle that kind of situation actually?
See, okay, Brajesh, okay, there are two ways to look at it. First thing is, okay, SAP officially announced that, they would like to discontinue this service. When they say discontinues, and any of the partners or customers are, using that service as a productive usage, okay, in that case, they do not discontinue the support of the service.
Okay.
Okay, they might not be available inside the discovery center of the product portfolio for some time, but the support will be continued. But after certain moments, SAP will also declare beyond this point will not support you, so you need to migrate. This is the replacement of this service, and you can need to replace it.
Okay. Yeah. So again, we need to require extra effort to replace that and change that our whatever application we have built, right?
That is true. That is true. Okay, I'll give you one of the live examples. Okay, SAP had, as part of the Leonardo portfolio, they had a couple of blockchain services being offered, probably 2018-19, okay, or 17-18. In that case, the multi-chain and maybe some other blockchain services which is being offered, it was discontinued. Okay, so after a certain time, SAP officially released, we are not going to support these services anymore, any in the future. You have to replace these services with other hyperscaler or maybe some other SAP services. So maybe I'll repeat the last slide. Okay, SAP BTP offers the fast inline processing, sustainable, agile solutions and services to integrate the data, extensions of applications, right? We can have the applications extended, fully embed the analytics and intelligence technologies with the help of services, and we can create the solutions, right? Services enabling facilitating and accelerate the development of business applications and other platform services on SAP BTP. So SAP services enabled and the facilitations can be done by the BTP admin or the person who has the access. And in order to accelerate the development of the business applications, we already have ample of templates available, pre-built content inside each of the services, and we can speed up the operations so that development turnaround time could be faster. Okay. Now coming back to the regions, we already seen it. Okay, you can deploy applications to the different regions. Each region represents the geographical locations. Europe, US East. Okay, we have a lot of more also. Okay, this is a business entity. Okay, I will go to the maybe translations might have more. Let's see, not sure. Yeah, see, we have Australia, we have Europe, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, ROT. We have US East Coast, 2 regions. Okay, and we have West Coast, 1 region. Okay, and if I go to some different services, maybe this one probably. Okay, see here we have only 3 part of it. Okay, but maybe okay, so see here we have a lot of regions, right? We have Sydney, we have Brazil. Okay, and for each service provider, the cloud providers, right, hyperscaler, we have a different kind of region, and we do have GCP is also offering the India also now. Okay, so these all are the regions we have it. Okay, and regions are provided by SAP or infrastructure services of partners like AWS, Azure, GCP. Alibaba it was there, but now we see in most of the services Alibaba it is not there. Okay, it might be a couple of services are being offered or maybe done on the Alibaba possibly. And the third party regions provided by operate the infrastructure layer of the service where SAP operates the platform layer and the cloud foundry. Okay, and the region is chosen at the sub account level, right? And for each sub account you can exactly have 1 region. Okay. So if you want to utilize the multiple regions, you need to have a multiple sub accounts. And even in our general SAP landscape, we have a dev quality pre-prod, prod, or maybe dev quality and production. In that case, for each landscape, we have a different sub accounts that is required. Okay, so we cannot have 1 sub accounts for dev inside that. Okay, 1 sub account in that we have different multiple spaces for dev quality and prod. No, that is not going to happen here. It is not advisable. Okay. Yeah.
Chintan, sorry, actually I have one question here.
Yeah, Naveen, please.
Can you go to the last slide?
Yeah, sure.
That you were showing. Yeah, here as we told that third-party region providers operate at the infrastructure layers of the region. That means the hardware part is taken care by the third-party providers like Azure and GCP, Alibaba. So SAP operates at the platform layer. And so what do you mean by a platform? Like, can you just question me, like a platform means what?
Yeah,
like?
sure. Okay. So basically SAP BTP is a platform, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And entire platform and the deployment of these services, right, are running on one or other service providers. See, SAP itself does not, it has the data centers, and it also requires the support from other data providers, the data center providers, to deploy its services. Okay, so these are the partners, right? They're helping to provide some kind of data center support, okay, on which SAP can deploy the BTP. And this, even nowadays we have a flexibility, right, to choose the service. Okay, whether you want to go ahead with the AWS, whether you want to go ahead with the Azure, or whether you want to go with the GCP. So it is onto the partner or the customer to decide what data center and what region they would like to go with.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Like
in order
the
to
question.
select the service, okay,
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
SAP, that service is running in this. Okay, when you select Cloud Foundry runtime service, okay, of GCP of Europe region, or maybe let's say India region, okay, in that case SAP is already had a provision of that instance, okay, that it is possible to deploy Cloud Foundry runtime service of BTP. It can be deployed under GCP of India region.
Okay, okay, got it. That means the all the APIs and all the APIs are hosted by this third party application as a they are hosting the hardware part, whereas the software part is taken by care by the SAP, like deploying those software into the hardware layer of that third party provided.
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, thank
SAP
got it.
is not enforcing us, right? So when you go with the Australia regions, okay, you have to go ahead with the Azure, AWS. No, it is up to us to decide what provider, what region, what we need to in which we need our service to be enabled.
Correct, correct.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Coming back to the region, right? So guys, I hope we are following here. Global account, sub accounts, we have regions and environments, quotas, and here we are talking about the region part of it. Okay, so in our region, okay, which is under our sub account, right? Yeah, in our region we have applications, we do have services, right? We have seen the services. Okay, this, if you deploy this services for this part of it, it will be available only for this region. Okay, only for that sub account. So all the services will be enabled. Okay, it will be there, data will be there, environments will be there, and infrastructure will be there, right? Infrastructure can be SAP owned, it can be a third party also. Okay, now coming back to the environment part of it. So environment constitute the actual platform as a service offering SAP BTP that allows for the development administrator of business applications. Environments are anchored in SAP BTP at sub account level, right? So we already seen the environments here. Okay, sorry, when we say environments, we know the Cloud Foundry runtime part of it and the Neo part of it, and the Kima also, and ABAP environment also. So if you want to deploy your ABAP code, right, you must have ABAP environment, okay? And if you have maybe earlier new environment or the Cloud Foundry environment, so all your applications running inside the Cloud Foundry, it will use that space to deploy your services, okay? Your applications will be deployed. It will be accessible via some endpoints, okay? And that is running inside the Cloud Foundry space of it. Okay, so Cloud Foundry environment, the Cloud Foundry environment enables you to develop the new business applications, business services, supporting multiple runtimes, programming language, libraries and services. Okay, why do we call it multiple programming language? Guys, I just covered
Because
that.
we can execute different programming languages into that this environment like Java, Node.js, RAP.
Not RAP, but yes, we can do Angular, React.js. Okay, other programming language, even Python is supported. Okay, we can deploy Python code inside the Cloud Foundry and it can be accessible. Okay, and that is not possible with the Neo environment. Okay, yeah, and we have ABAP environment, so it allows you to create the extensions of ABAP based products. Okay, it's clearly called out. Okay, such as S4 HANA Cloud, even develop the new cloud applications. You can transform the existing ABAP based custom code and the extensions to the cloud. What SAP is suggesting, okay, keep your core clean. Okay, so keep your on-premise system, whether it's ECC, S4 HANA, any versions. Okay, keep itself clean. Okay, whatever kind of new development you want to do it inside your BTP side of it. Okay, so when you do any kind of upgradations, migrations, right, on an old S4 HANA system to new S4 HANA systems, okay, there won't be any major impact because all your custom codes will be inside the BTP. You just upgrade your systems, okay, and you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, let me give you the examples of it. Okay, the why would you like to keep your core clean? Okay, see, if you want to create your Adobe applications, right, Adobe forms, okay, inside your on-premise systems, we have to install the components inside the on-premise systems. Okay, we have to enable it. Okay, we have to, and sometimes it may give some issues. Okay, and we need components to be upgraded also some certain times, right? But if you are using Adobe service in BTP, you do not have to implement or install any kind of your component inside your SAP on-premise system. That will help us, and how much time it will take, that just enabling the Adobe service, couple of minutes. Okay, you can give access and your development can be started. Okay, so the installing the components inside the on-premise systems, and certain times when we install the components, right, it might conflict with some other features. Okay, so in that case, our existing process or maybe existing development, okay, it will be hampered. Okay, we need to understand what is happening, what is getting wrong, and we can uninstall it, we can try it out, we can install the new components, right? All these issues can be ignored. Okay, your core is clean, keep it different. Okay, and use the BTP services to enable all kind of business features. Okay, and even for the custom code, what we used to do in ABAP systems, since over a couple of ages, right? Programs, reports, tables, okay, everything we can keep it inside the BTP. Okay, we can connect, your BTP can connect, talk to on-premise systems, can do the data flow to and from, okay, with the on-premise to BTP, and your everything BTP will contain all your custom logic, business logic. Okay, and it will keep your core clean. When I'm saying this one, I'm also saying that 100% keeping the core clean, it's not possible. Okay, it will go requirement by requirement. Okay, sometimes we need to extend the BAPIs or something. Okay, which is you cannot do that inside the ABAP environment. Okay,
I have a question.
yeah,
If we are
please.
having all the custom code on cloud and we have on-prem application, that means every time there is communication between cloud and on-prem when the program is being run. So does it have any impact on the performance?
Okay, Swapnil, I got your point. Okay, so when you have all your programs running in cloud, okay, and your applications, in that case, your applications should also be inside the BTP side of it. Okay.
So it on-prem with communication with on-prem will have impact like.
See, I'll not say communication will be impacted. This is how I would put it. Okay, if you are using S4 HANA applications and the applications are also deployed inside the S4 HANA on-premise system, in that case, you do not have to move your code to the BTP side of it, because applications are deployed inside the on-premise system. Your logic and your data is also inside the on-premise systems. So when you execute your application from on-premise, the execution processing time would be much more it would be much more faster, processing would be much more faster. Okay, but when you have, in that case, if you can also deploy your applications inside the BTP, and then if you are have your code, the custom code inside the ABAP environment, then it would be smooth operation.
Okay.
Yeah, but what about the data that is being fetched from a on-premise application? In that case, suppose
Yeah.
if we have, suppose if we have our development done in a ABAP runtime service of a BTP, and also we have an application hosted on a BTP, but our data resides on the on-premise, which is fetched through the cloud connector, in the form of through RFC. So, is there any potential performance issue you observe in this approach?
Naveen, okay, let me tell you, there is no potential issues which I see, because whatever the development or implementations have done, okay, for my various clients, we always, have this approach that data, transactional data always resides in on-premise systems. Okay, it can be ECC, S4 HANA. Okay, um, and whatever your custom development will be there, it is inside the BTP. Okay, and when you talk, right, that applications are getting deployed inside the BTP, but your data resides in S4 HANA on premise or maybe cloud version of it. Even in future, the transactional data will be inside the backend system. Okay, and there is
Correct.
no, yeah, there is no potentials issues. I have seen it sometimes. If you are pulling up large set of data, maybe thousands or lakhs of records, okay, and on top of it, if you are doing a lot of transformations, there might be see the delays of couple of seconds. Okay, and in certain situations, okay, if your processing is too much, okay, in that case, it can go inside the minutes also, but the processing will be in normal scenarios will not see that kind of issues, Naveen.
Yeah, the reason that we were asking this question is that, we normally interact with the data in the form of data service, you know, uh, and then if we create a Fiori app, and there might be some kind of a, the a limit by which the data can be fetched to through OData service, in the form of URL to the Fiori app. So that's what we were asking, like, is there any potential, a limitation of an OData API that can be fetched, like any limit of the number of records that can be fetched from the on-premise database, the cloud?
Yes, we do have limits. Okay, limitations from the SAP OData side of it. Okay, I guess limit
Okay,
is around 10,000 records or something.
okay, okay,
Okay, but
okay.
yeah.
Got it, got it. And I
Yes.
have one more question. Sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting.
Okay,
As
no
you
problem.
told earlier that regarding the Adobe Forms, as SAP is going with the core theme approach, Adobe, for developing the Adobe Forms, we require the Adobe Lifecycle Designer in the on-premise application.
That is
So,
true.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so in that case, as you told that there is no additional component that needs to be installed at the BTP level. So the development needs to be done in the on-premise only, or yeah,
No,
the
Naveen. Okay.
development needs to be done at the BTP.
Yeah. So component does not needs to be installed inside the on-premise systems. We have the Adobe service in BTP, which we can subscribe and enable it. And that service is enabled. Okay. The developers can use that service to start the development of the Adobe, forms.
Yeah, so environment will be BTP or on-premise.
The BTP one, right?
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so the whole Adobe Forms support will be there in BTP only. There is nothing to be interaction with. Only for database we can interact with the on-premise, but everything can be hosted by BTP for Adobe Forms.
Yes, Naveen, you are right.
So thank you, Chintan.
No problem. Okay. And yeah, sorry, Swapnil.
Sorry, Chintan. I have questions too. I'm just trying to understand how do we leverage this environment and what are the benefits of it. Okay. When we are saying that the custom code is on BTP, are we saying that the deployed applications are on BTP and the backend or the connectivity is with our SAP system, right? The backend system. So our code will eventually reside there only unless the applications are deployed on BTP.
See, okay, there are two ways to look at it. Okay, now we have a
Mm.
database also inside the BTP. Okay, and we have the applications also inside the BTP, and we have the application layer also inside the BTP.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So coming back to your questions, probably okay. We can deploy our applications to BTP. Okay, it will
Yeah.
communicate with the OData, right, with the
Right.
on-premise systems. Okay,
Correct.
so
Yes. Yes.
and
Yeah.
all our transactional data, okay, what is sales order, process order, purchase order is getting
Yes.
triggered, right?
I think I'm clear with the data part, Chintan. My question was regarding the code which is present, because I'm building an application, say, in this ABAP environment. The custom code, if I'm connecting my system to a database, not for fetching the data, but basically for the whole development as well, right? For the backend system, my code would eventually reside in my backend system, the S4 system.
No, when you are doing the ABAP coding inside the ABAP environment, your
Yeah.
code will be inside the ABAP environment tenant itself. It is
Okay.
in BTP. It is not in on-premise system.
So, okay, all right. And then is there a benefit of this approach over, doing the classical developments? For example, like you said, let me elaborate some more on that. For example, like you said, for example, the Adobe services. Currently, we have an S4 system as the backend, and we are actually leveraging the Adobe systems, Adobe services. I mean, by using Cloud Connector, we are still leveraging them at on-premise. Also, the component does not reside in our system. So if I put that aside, is there any other benefit why I should go ahead with the ABAP environment in BTP? Practically, I'm trying to understand.
See, okay.
Maybe for the faster upgrades, because BTP may, whenever we host any applications, SAP do upgrade, perform upgrades at a quarterly level. Maybe Chintan can elaborate.
Yeah. So Apnil, right? So that is
Yeah.
one scenario, right? The partner
Yeah.
upgrades. Okay. The second would be if you want to keep your core clean. Okay.
Right.
And SAP is there in the market since almost 1970s. So almost 35 years or 40 years. Okay. Probably we did not have any kind of cloud tool provided by SAP where we can deploy our the ABAP code, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So if you would like to keep your core clean, where are you going to place all your custom code, whatever your custom objects what we have developed over the period of couple of decades, where are we going to deploy it?
Right. Okay.
Okay, that is one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Second way would be, see, everybody is talking to cloud since almost the last 10-15 years. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And SAP has started this journey pretty late. Okay.
True.
And if as a company, if you grow, but if your developers cannot grow along with you, you cannot serve to your customer. Okay. And what SAP has over the period of 3 to 4 decades, they have a lot of ABAP developers. Okay. But they do not have the knowledge on maybe Java or maybe some kind of cloud technologies where they can do something, or they can put your code inside the ABAP code inside the cloud, because ABAP is the native language of SAP.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we do have a lot of ABAP developers. So ABAP developers, they need to think through it, that how the ABAP developers can grow, or they can place their code inside the cloud part of it. And we have a lot of codes inside the SAP of for custom objects, are most of them are from ABAP side only. When I say ABAP means everything, right? It is not
Yes.
in
Yes.
Java, it is not in AngularJS, React.js. Okay. So how these things, the big chunk of all the customers, can be placed inside the cloud? So they had to develop something which is native to SAP for the ABAP environment. They can sustain that ABAP code can run inside that environment.
Okay. Okay. Yes. All right. I get the concept of this core clean, because when we are saying if we put the custom code there, or if we build custom code there, it keeps our code clean. That I'm very clear with. And again, the roadmap that you're saying, that also I understand that we should be also leveraging uh, since SAP is late, but then, okay, let me put it this way again. Technically, we apart from the partner upgrades, what Naveen just mentioned, I think that is the biggest advantage, we say technically, if we want to use this ABAP environment.
See, that is also one way to look at it, right? And we
Correct.
have the HANA database inside the we have the HANA database as a database as an offering, right? Service as an
Yeah.
offering. Okay.
Yes.
So when you have Fiori applications, when you have the data inside your cloud database, which is the BTP HANA cloud, okay, and
Yes.
all the processing are also happening the ABAP layer, okay.
Right.
For not for 100% functionalities, you have to connect to your on-premise system.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
Okay, so you can talk to your BTP and you can get all the functionalities. For certain functionalities, you have to connect with the on-premise systems. You can get the data, you can process, okay, and even the processing logic can be put in ABAP layers, okay, and the data can be passed to the Fiori applications.
Okay. I think that helps, Chintan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. In Naveen, I had your questions about the limitations of OData API, right? We have
Correct.
yeah. So in that part, right, we do not pull all the data from on-premise systems to the Fiori applications. Okay, so we design Fiori applications, whatever data clients needs, the business people need to help them to understand, to process some kind of actions. Only that set of data, few fields, okay, or few line items, okay, we only process them to showcase onto the screens. We do not pull all the maybe 1 lakh, 1 million, 10 million records, and we can dump it inside the Fiori applications.
Correct. So suppose suppose there is one Fiori app that is doing a search for a particular kind of a sales organization. So some newbie customer client, either just do a generic search. So even though the developer had designed the app in such a way that it will suffice with the customer requirement, but because of that user, he had done the generic search. So database will be pulling the majority of the records to the front end Fiori app. So in that case, maybe we can use the navigation kind of a thing, uh, pagination kind of a thing to avoid a big chunk of data to be sent to the from database to the Fiori app. Maybe if you can
Definitely,
elaborate.
the paginations we can definitely apply, right? And even that will go, okay. But let's say we have one table, we have 10 million records, okay, and we have maybe 100 columns, right? In that table, database table inside the on-premise systems. So we do not expose everything. Let's say we are exposing only 5 to 6 columns, okay, and we are exposing maybe 100 records, next time 100 records, or maybe 15 records, okay, and we can try to process like that. But we do not pull all the data to OData API and process everything inside the Fiori side of it. Okay, we try to limit the length and breadth. Okay, the columns, the number of line items, whatever business sits, we only process that data from the OData side of it. The data inside the OData services, which is would be limited, and it can be processed faster. I see there are a couple of hands. Maybe I'll take one by one. Hey, hi Manjuri.
Yeah, hi Chintan. So yeah, what will happen, or like what are the consequences? Like for example, if we will developing a web custom code directly in the cloud system, migration it's fine. Like of course we can migrate directly from the on-premise to this BTP, right? So yeah, I know we can develop it, but I think we have some restrictions maybe.
Yes, we cannot migrate our code as it is from on-premise to BTP cloud. Okay, and there we have some different concept. We have wrap, we have managed services, we have unmanaged services, and we have to create the objects like in a similar fashions. What in a RESTful ABAP programming models, okay, frameworks which supports. We need to create the reports and we can deploy it. Manjuri.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
do we have any restrictions related to like released APIs to access the SAP standard code inside the cloud-based ABAP system?
Okay, so yeah, from our RESTful ABAP programming models, okay, we can connect with the on-premise, okay, and we can use the RFC enable function models. We can try to leverage directly along with that. If you want to use the API, SAP API Hub, we can try to leverage. And even if we need to connect with the any kind of third-party integrations, yeah, we can do that, Manjuri.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, if you need to connect with the bartender, which is the label printing system, right? If you need to connect with the DocuSign with the ABAP environment, we can make that connections, and from that above environment we can write a code by which it can talk or it can consume the third party APIs, and we can send the data request and we can get the response. That is possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Chintan, sorry for interrupting. I have one question here.
Yeah.
Similar question to the one that was asked now. Like
Yeah.
if you are hosting this our project in the cloud, so maybe through Eclipse we are loading that project as a project, and so not all the objects are we can work upon. Like there are SAP has provided some wide listing of some objects only that we can work upon and we can do the customization. So is it that there might be some kind of restriction on the development from the ABAP developer point of view?
See, okay, the RESTful ABAP programming model, it has a framework, right? And we need to create the we need to develop anything within the limitations of that framework itself. Okay, we cannot have our own reports we can directly deploy and it will run. It will not. It will never like that. It will be never like that. It will not.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, Sarmishta, you have some question?
No, I don't have any questions, and I request others also not to have any questions at this point in time, because I started this discussion. Please hold your questions. We will ask at the end of the session. Okay, let's continue with the session.
Okay, fine. Swapnil, anything? Okay.
Just a quick question. I won't take much time. I just wanted to know, you were discussing about connection to third-party systems. Would you be covering that sometime later in the course? I mean, at least we'll touch base on this topic.
Yeah, we will touch
Pardon.
base, in the theoretical part of it, but practically it's not possible because in order to connect with the third party, we need to have, third party integrations,
Correct.
connectors
Agreed.
setup. Yeah, but
Yes.
we can touch base. Swapnil.
Okay,
That is
great.
not
All
there.
right. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, Chintan.
no problem. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Chintan. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So yeah, we talked about the Cloud Foundry environment. Okay, we talk about the ABAP environment, right? Yeah. So I'll move to the next part of it. Okay, so we have Kima environment, for which we have talked very much little. Okay, the Kima environment is fully managed Kubernetes runtime based, and that is going. It looks like SAP is going to replace Cloud Foundry with the Kima, right, in future. So Kima is going to be in the future runtime environment where we can deploy our codes, the Fiori applications and everything, and we can take it forward. Okay, and it has a all Cloud Foundry and the Kima are based on contrast microservices which we can deploy it. Okay, and Kima is giving us much more flexibility in terms of deployment part of it. Okay, and as we talk about the new environment, right, it will help us to develop HTML, Java. I'm sorry, probably there's something wrong. Okay, but yeah, HTML. Why? Because UI5 libraries. Okay, what we have discussed, the Fiori part of it, the Fiori uses the UI5 library. Okay, and UI5 is the base for the HTML5 itself. Okay, so in a nutshell, both are same. Okay, HTML5 and the UI5 both are same, and it will help us to develop the HTML5 applications, UI5 Fiori, and even the SAP HANA extended microservices. Okay, application services which we can build. Okay, earlier when we talk about the new environment, so it means we are talking about the period of 2010 to 2015-16. Okay, so at that moment we already had the HANA database inside the new environment. Okay, but how can we leverage the data residing in HANA, okay, inside our applications? Okay, and even HANA database, okay, we can build the applications directly on HANA database. Okay, so we were having the we can create the services from the SAP HANA. Okay, and we can try to leverage those services inside the Fiori applications. Okay, so you can also use the UI development toolkit for HTML5 to develop the rich user interface. So what are the UI development toolkits we have if we need to create any kind of applications, the front end applications? Guys, you have covered the Fiori session. What are the UI5 development framework we have? Is anybody aware of web ID?
Yes, we
Yes,
can do
and
that through the
Yeah,
web ID.
yeah, we have web ID. Yeah, we have a business application studio, and earlier we did not have a web ID. Okay, at that moment we had the HANA Studio, which is similar to Eclipse. Okay, in which we used to create the Fiori applications. Okay, so HANA Studio was the first editor. Then it was, web ID came, web ID multiple versions came. Okay, with the slight naming difference. Then we had the business application studio, and now we are having the SAP build applications also. Okay, SAP build has some more concepts as well, and we are not going to cover that part. Okay, but these are the UI5 front end, development frameworks what we have, editors what we have, in which we can create, develop the rich user interfaces. Okay, enterprise and trial account, this you are quite pretty comfortable with that one. Okay, trial account, okay, lets you try out the platform for free. Okay, it is used for to create some small POCs, or it is just for developers to try out some scenarios, okay, to learn something. Okay, the enterprise account is usually associated with the SAP customers and the partners. Okay, this is open to everybody. This is a purchase entitlement, you have to purchase it. And okay, as we discussed, right, it's a personal explorations, personal learning, not for production usage, and the team development. Okay, and it groups together with the different sub accounts that administrator make available for the deploying applications. Okay, so when we talk about the enterprise account, right, why talk about the different sub accounts? Because see, if you have one company, TCS has multiple clients. Okay, and TCS has a presence inside the multiple geography, right? So it might be possible that we have one. Okay, we have in TCS there is only one SAP BTP account is there globally. Okay, but based on region or maybe based on verticals, they might have splitted different sub accounts. Okay, and they might, each sub accounts may have different spaces also. Okay, guys, are you getting me? How even client can segregate, how client can understand how to create sub account and the spaces. Sub account and the region are directly linked. Okay, so it might be possible. Okay, being a third person, I'm not sure what is your BTP hierarchy, okay, in TCS, but based on region or maybe based on verticals, right, we have finance vertical, we have sales vertical, or maybe we have manufacturing vertical, right? So in that case, for each different verticals we may have different sub accounts so that people can try it out by themselves. And even for customers, like let's say we have Apple, right? Apple is also using the BTP heavily. Okay, so even in that case, Apple has a presence of various geography for manufacturing, for their vendors, for them OEMs. Okay, and not only for one person. Okay, manufacturing is one part. Okay, but even the procuring of the spare parts. Okay, and even the sales part of it. Okay, so they might have different sub accounts based on this kind of possibilities. Okay, so this is how we can create the directories. This is how we can create the different kind of sub accounts, and we can create the spaces, and we can have the services enabled for each of the sub accounts level. And any thoughts on this? Okay, I'll take up next part. Okay, so when we say commercial models, right? Okay, so there are two possibilities. Okay, you want to go ahead with the consumption based, or you want to go ahead with the subscription based. Okay, and how will you decide? Okay, here we have, okay, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, so here pay as you go, and we have, okay, pay as you go means it's a consumption based. Okay, pay as you go, it means whatever you consume, and this is subscription based. Okay, so by here you can select the service, you can check it out, right? What it is, a consumption based commercial model, and this is a subscription based commercial model. Okay, and based on scenario, based on number of users, right? And we can differentiate which model will be suitable for ourselves, for our customer, what kind of consulting we need to do. Okay, and here if you would like to change the currency, okay, currency can also be changed, and we can check it out. Okay, so this is possible. Is this clear, guys? Pay as you go and subscription based. Okay, in a very simple terms, it's like prepaid and postpaid. Okay, fine, go ahead. Even that's old concept, it's just fine. Yeah. Okay. So now we are, talking about the global account and sub account. Okay. Right. So global account for each account. Okay. If we have, maybe TCS as a company, or maybe Infosys as a company, or maybe Apple as a company, or maybe Microsoft as a company, each company will have only one global account. They will have only one account with for SAP BTP with SAP. Okay. And that account, and in that we can create the multiple sub accounts. That is the general structure we have. Okay. And we can create as many sub accounts as we want to have it. Okay, we can segregate based on verticals, based on geography. Let's say, TCS America is very different. Okay, TCS Australia is very different. TCS Japan is different. In that case, we can create a different sub accounts for them, and we can create the directories for them. Okay, and inside the directories also we can create the sub accounts. Okay, and we can make it happen. Okay, and inside sub accounts, we can add the users, we can subscribe the services, and we can give access to those users, okay, for those services, so that users can leverage the development, or leverage the services to start the business functionality. Is this clear? Okay, fine. Okay, so as I said earlier, right, one global account, okay, sub account, we can create it, we can create the directory, and in that directory we can have multiple directories. Okay, we can create the directories here also, and we can create the sub accounts also. So that is possible. Okay, fine.
What does a directory mean in this?
It is simple. Okay, it is a folder.
Okay, that's it.
Maybe I'll give you example. Okay, let's say we have here we have multiple sub accounts. Okay, so here I can put it maybe US TCS US. Okay,
Yeah.
inside TCS US we have specific, okay, maybe TCS manufacturing units, and within that we have multiple sub accounts. Okay, so it's just like folder.
More
folder.
for logical grouping then.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, all right.
Got it? Yeah. Fine. Okay, so this is what we have: entitlements and quotas. Okay, so when you purchase the enterprise accounts, you are entitled to use a specific set of resources. Okay, and when you are purchasing it, okay, at that agreement, right, we can select what kind of services what we need to have, what kind of and quotas we need to have it, right. I need 2 instances of HANA database, I need 5 instances of HANA database, I need business application studio or web ID for my 100 users, maybe 1000 users. Okay, so we can try to get multiple instances of the service based on our needs. Okay, and we can ask SAP to enable it. Okay, and it is your right to provision and consume the resources. Other words, entitlements are the service plans that you are entitled to use. Okay, so if you have chosen maybe 5 instances of HANA database, okay, and you are only using 2 instances, it means you still need to pay for other 3 also if you are not using it. Okay, and the quota represents the numerical quantities that defines the maximum allowed consumptions of a resource. Okay, so for certain services we have the quotas also. Okay, so limitations of maybe 1000 transactions, some things. Okay, and if you cross that limit, okay, even for BPA we have it. Okay, so if you there is some certain numbers. Okay, let's just try to see that part, it would be more clear. Oh, sorry. Okay, did you see this? Even for I choose the subscription model, okay, there's a limit of 1,000 per, okay, and these are the active users, okay. So if you have more active users, there are a lot of things here, okay. I'll try to be simplify here, okay. So attended one, okay. Yeah, this is pretty clear. This would be easy for us to understand. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. So when you have, unattended bot, okay, it means, you have one job is running, okay, and there are in pipeline, there are 5 other jobs are there, okay. It will execute one after another, okay. So that is the one quantity. But if you have multiple connections or multiple parallel sessions to be executed, in that case, we need to have multiple unattended connections. Okay, and if you want to have multiple unattended connections, you need to buy more than one instance of unattended automations, so that multiple concurrent job executions can be run in parallel. Okay, this is about one simple example. Even for SAP translations, we will have something. Yeah, so okay, so what does it say is, right? If you process this many number of characters, this is the costing. Okay, so there is some limit of it. Okay, so for each service, different types of consumption limit is been defined. Okay, and if we cross that one, okay, the another instance, sometimes it will be by default, it will be coming, okay, and the charges will be applied. And so we need to choose our entitlements, the quota properly. Okay, maybe I will hand it over to another trainer, which is Yamini. Yamini.
Hi, Chintan.
Yamini, would you like to take it up now?
Yeah, I can take it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hi all. My name is Yamini, and I'll be continuing with this. Okay. So now, when we have this user and the member management, it is kind of an administrative perspective of your BTP environment. Okay, now when we have this users and member management, it is referring to the people that are present into it. Now we have the platform users and the business users. Okay, whenever the resources are assigned to you, there are two perspectives. So the platform users are a kind of a admin people, and when you refer to the business users, they are referring to the people who would be using the resources inside it. Okay, now when we have seen this above diagram, can you just scroll it above, Chintan, onto the global account section? Yes, okay, over here, just over here. Okay, now whenever a global account is referred, it is referring to the agreement that you have it with your company, and then the one which you have it with your SAP. Now SAP has given you this resource. Okay, they call it as a platform. This platform has been given to you, and into this platform you would have resources available at the sub account level, and inside sub account level you would be having it further drill down. Okay, so inside the sub accounts you would be having, Chintan, can you just scroll it down?
Yeah, sure.
Here. Okay, now inside each of that, you would have, under each of your sub accounts, you would be having some of the services, some of the entitlements, some of the quotas, and all those things. Okay, now whenever you have a region, it is referring to either of your data centers, or it is either referring to some of the resources that are available. Now when you have been onto the discovery center, there you see that some resources are available onto some specific regions. Right now, when you are referring to certain regions, they are referring to the resources that are available. For example, let's say that I am into a certain region. let's say I am into Australia and you are into India. Now, it is not necessary that the service that you have in India is also available into Australia as a region. So that time what we have is, we have some of the channels which will connect to those resources. That time the data centers or the hyperscalers come in picture. Chindan, can you move on to the Discovery Center, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here the translation hub is a kind of a service. Okay, now if you have this as a service, Chintan, can you just scroll it down? See, here it is available on to just two hyperscalers. It is referring to the AWS, but what it is referring to, it is referring to the only European region, and one is where into the US. Now, if you are a person who is on to some other region, let's say you are into the Singapore or you are into some Asia Pacific region, that time a translation hub is not available for you. Okay, this is one of the service. Now, anything that you have into your BTP environment is always available in the form of a service. Everything that you see is always entitled onto some entitlements and quotas. Let's say I have a account. Okay, I have a postpaid account and I have a prepaid account. Now for me, Chintan, can you just go to the overview section, please? Overview into the Discovery Center. Just pricing. Can you just move on to that? Okay, here. Okay, now it refers to CPEA and pay as you go. Now, when Chintan was going on to the consumption and the subscription model, it is referring to the consumption and it is referring to the subscription as well. Let's say I am a Netflix user. Okay, I have purchased a subscription for a month. Okay, and there is one way where I go for a subscription onto a year. So for me, the resources are available for a year, whether I use it or whether I don't use it. It is up to me. Then when I am going it for an annual subscription, I am entitled to use it for a year. But if I go it via subscription, every month there is a charge. So now it purely depends on to your need, whether you want to go onto your subscription for that particular year or whether you want to go on to the monthly basis, that is pay as you go. If you are willing to pay it for this month, the next month you might not be interested in using that service. So what you do, you go with the subscription. When you need it, you use that service. That is your subscription model. When you go with your consumption model, that time it is referring to that even though you use it for an annual year, whether you use it or you don't use it, it is up to you. Okay, so that is your subscription and the one is your consumption model. Till here, is it clear for you? What is the subscription and what is the consumption? Or is there anyone who has a question on the same? Should we move on to the next slide? Here. Okay, now when you go with your platform user, you are on to your admin perspective where you are allowed to deploy the services, troubleshoot some of the services. Here into your platform user also, you would be having different roles, whether it is a DB admin, whether it is a user admin. Let's take a generic scenario where you are a business user. Let's say I am having a GUI logon. Okay, now for me to develop any of the objects into my SAP, I need to have a developer role. Okay, so let's say I need to have a developer role if I am creating an object. Now if I am missing out onto that development as a role, so who do I request to? some of the people are working or they have already been trained onto the Fury Launchpad configuration, right? Someone was there who was earlier saying that they are taking care of the configuration side. Someone was there who said that they have been taking care of the Launchpad configuration.
In basic scenario, we go to the admins to provide the roles and authorizations, basis team basically. Similar kind of roles are also available in Fury. Fury admins are there. They can add or remove user access and roles.
So what does the role restrict you for? It basically restricts you onto the accessibility of the data, whether of the any of the resources that are available, right? So into your GUI, you call them as the roles. Here you would be calling them as a service, which is entitled onto your sub account level. Okay. And a business user is someone who would be utilizing those in the form of the applications, into the form of the services which they have subscribed to. Till here, is it clear? The user and the member management. This is basically an admin perspective. Okay, someone who is taking care of the IS and IPS systems. Should we move on to the next slide? Okay, so here we have it. Platform user are usually developers, administrators, or operators who deploy, administer, or troubleshoot the application and services onto the BTP. Okay, so everything that you have it will depend purely onto the users that you are as a working. Okay, whether it be an admin or whether be it a business user. Okay, so the business users use the applications that are deployed onto the BTP. Okay, now when I say the BTP, it has a perspective where you have things onto your Chintan, can you just go to the first slide, please? The first one. Just hold on, just hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, here. Okay, now when you are onto your BTP, what is the BTP enabling you? BTP is giving you the database and the data management. So for this, what is the role? What is the user? A DB admin is your user. Okay, now if someone is working onto the analytical side, he is referring to the HANA and analytics perspective. Okay, application and development. A business user comes under this role. Okay, where he will be taking care of the applications or the tools or the services that are required for the application development. Now when I say about the intelligent technologies, it is referring to the automation of your enterprises. Okay, now basically a BTP is a kind of an environment which is referring, or it is a kind of a platform which refers to the intelligent enterprises. Okay, so whenever you go with your BTP, this is a technological stack that is available onto the BTP platform. Now depending onto the role which you are working on, it will have the admin perspective, it will have the business user. Okay, so this is a technological stack that is available onto your business technology platform. So we would be just focusing onto the application development and the integration. When I say about the integration, I am referring to the SAP and non-SAP systems also. Okay, now when I say about the integration, it is from your SAP. Let's say it's Success Factor is one of the system, Ariba is one of the system. So those system can also be integrated into your business technology platforms. Okay, now when I say the application development side, that time I am referring to the systems which can connect to your databases also. Okay, so it depends on to you what kind of an environment or the landscape that you are setting up for the consumption of the resources that you are availing. Okay, Chintan, can you just go on to the next slides which we have?
Yeah, this one, right?
Yeah, the tools and the management. The user management. Just hold on. Okay. The user management. Okay. Now, when we have this user management, user management refers to the managing authentication and authorization for your business user. This is only done for your deployed applications. Okay. Now, I have a question over here. What is the difference between the authentication and the authorization? Is there anyone who is aware of what is the authentication and what is the authorization? Anyone would
Authentication is basically like for for logging into a particular survey application, like checking the login credentials, using the login credentials. Whereas authorization means providing specific role to that particular service, maybe.
Okay. And how about the authorization?
Yeah, authorization that means we need to assign the roles to particular service or app like kind of a thing.
Okay. Let's say I'm just taking a normal example of your Gmail. Okay. I want to send a mail to someone who is an existing user of a Gmail. So what would I need? Would I need a authentication or would I need a authorization?
Authorization, I guess.
Are you sure?
Authentication.
Authentication, that would be.
Authentication.
Authentication.
You need to ensure that you are an authentic user to be able to send mail. You should be authorized to send mail.
Yes, that's right, Swapnil. Okay, so first thing is that you need to be a Gmail user. Okay, let's say not only a Gmail user, any user who is authorized to send a mail. Okay, you can send a mail to your Gmail user also from your Outlook, right? You can have a cross sending of your mails. That is why you have this authorization. You're authorized, but until and unless you authenticate yourself as an existing user who is authorized to send a mail, you cannot send a mail. This is a normal generic scenario. It's not even in just the Gmail, it's not even just in your Outlooks, it's with everywhere. Okay, for example, if I want to send a mail to someone, I have to first authenticate myself onto that portal. The second user I am sending a mail should be a person who can receive the mail, right? So the authorization is a kind of a check which exists for a person either to send or receive a mail. Okay, are we clear with the user management perspective? Are we clear with this user management perspective? Are we clear with this user management perspective?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yes. Okay, but now how does this user management works into this BTP? This user management works through a concept of IAS and IPS. Okay, which is an identity provider. It could be your SAP or it could be a third party also, which we can integrate into our existing BTP environments also for the authentication of our users to be authenticated. Okay, so that is about your user management. Chintan, next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay, now the tools, the programming languages, the cloud application programming model. Now, when I say about the tools, what does the tool refers to? SAP BTP includes many tools to help you with the develop and manage applications and connect them to your on-prem systems. Okay, now it could be an on-prem system or it could be a cloud systems also. Now, first thing is, what is a tool? Okay, so the tool is a kind of a environment which will help you to develop some of the applications. It could be a monitoring of your application, it could be your development, it could be your enhancement, or it could refer to anything that will help you with your developments. Okay, so there are a lot of tools which we have. There are existing tools. Let's say we have SAP GUI, we have Eclipse. Okay, these are some of the tools which SAP is using already. But when we go with the SAP BTP, the tools which are provided by your BTP for your development is a business application studio, which we are going to cover into the next session. Okay, so one of the prominent tools that we have for your multiple developments is a business application studio. This is one of the prominent tools that we have it for your BTP. Okay, the programming languages, SAP BTP supports many different programming languages. The availability of each depends on to the development environment you're using. Okay, when I am saying that the programming languages, your environments, okay, we had the Neo environment, we had the Kima environment, we have the Cloud Foundry, we have the ABAP environments. Okay, depending on to the environment which you want to use, you would be having the programming languages enabled for you. Okay, so we have one more language, we have one more model called as a cloud application programming model. The cloud application programming model offers a consistent end-to-end programming model that include libraries, languages, and API that are tailored for the full stack development onto the SAP BTP. Okay, so the cloud, we refer this cloud application programming model as a CAPM. Okay, we are referring this as a CAPM. Now, what does the CAPM provides you? CAPM provides you with a full stack development. Now, when I am saying that it's a full stack development, now whenever we have a full stack development, it is into the three parts. One is a UI, one is a DB, and one is your interface. Now when I say a DB, okay, if you see your BTP technical stack, we had a database management vertical also. In this data management vertical, I am referring to the systems which exist. Okay, now this systems could be SAP HANA cloud systems. It could be a system called as a ECC, which we are connecting via integration. Okay, or this could be any of the system which is having a data connected to it. Okay, now when I'm referring to the UI perspective of it, it could be referring to your application which is made into your UI5. It could be a application which is made using a wizard called as a Fury elements. Okay, or it could be bring your own tool. Okay, when I say your bring own tool, even though the support is limited, you can have your Angular JS, you can have your React, you can have your Vue, which is referred as VUE. So these are some of the kind of the interfaces that are available, but they are under your bring your own tools. Okay, now when I'm saying this full stack environment, this three has to come in picture. Okay, so your packaging would be done under your cloud application programming, where you have your user interface, you would be having your DB, and you would be having your database layers also. Okay, Chinta, next slide please. So before moving on to this, I think we can take 10 minutes of break. Will that be fine? We will just come back by 11:30.
Maybe we'll continue.
You want to continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the tools, programming models, programming language, and the API. Okay. Now CI/CD, the continuous integration and the delivery. Depending on your use case, you can choose between different offerings for your continuous integration and delivery. Okay. Now when I say the continuous integration and delivery, we earlier used to have the systems into the form of your, let's say, if you have already worked on to some of your support projects, if a change request comes in, what is that you do? Do you go with that new development overriding your existing development, or you keep the existing features, along with that you bring in the change request that has been requested? What is that you do? Do you override your existing development, go with the new, and just ignore the features which are there? Like, how is the development environment that you follow?
The second one, we add to our existing code.
Okay, so in that case, what you do? Will you take a change request from a client and then do the development, or you take the change request, do the changes, and then just deploy that? How is it? You don't
No,
how is that you do, Naveen?
yeah, we take the requirement from the client, check the feasibility, and then we provide them the effort estimate. If they are okay, then once that requirement is approved, then we see whether it is a first we'll check that object whether it is a new development or an existing development. So accordingly, we provide them, we check the feasibility and provide the effort estimate. Once that requirement is approved, then we make the change on top of the existing code if it is an existing object, or else we develop a new report and capture it into a transport record and move it across to quality and production.
Okay, so you are doing a continuous integration and delivery. Okay, let me take a
Yeah.
normal example which we use it. Okay, let's say today WhatsApp is including one of the feature which is called as a group calling. Now, will they override the existing feature of the calling? They will not, right? Similarly, whenever there is a integration of a new component into your existing component, you are not overriding the existing feature but enhancing it. That is what we call it as a continuous integration and delivery, where new features keep on adding, but along with that you are retaining your old features, which is nowhere hampering your existing developments. Okay, so this feature, continuous integration and delivery, is enabled to us via a tool called as a Git, which is by default available into your business application studio, which is one of the tool. Okay, so your continuous integration and delivery will be taken care of with the help of a tool called as a Git. Okay, so the APIs, discover and consume APIs to manage, build, and extend the core capabilities of SAP BTPs. Okay, now when I am saying the APIs, it is referring to application programming interface. Okay, now for example, let's say I want to take up some module. Okay, and I am working on to a module called as a sales. Now, when I am referring to a module called as a sales, what is the basic thing that you will have related to your sales? What is that thing that you will have basically related to your sales?
So there may be some data actually that we can say that like it may be like organizational data, transactional data that we will have for sales.
Okay. Can I just say, for example, that sales order or sales order ID is something that I need? Can I say that?
Yes, sales order, you can say that we need a sales order or you need a sales order detail kind of thing. So that include all the things.
Okay. Now, if I am an employee of some organization, what is that I need? I need
So
an employee ID, right? If I am an employee of any organization, I would need an employee ID. Now, what is SAP offering with this term called as API? We have a tool called as a API Hub. Chintan, can you just move on to the API Hub window? Can you
Yeah,
just
sure.
okay? Now, instead of moving it or instead of creating from a scratch, SAP SAP has come up with a thing called as a API Hub. Okay, now in this API Hub, depending on the landscape that you have opted, the module that you have enabled, or any kind of a services that you have procured, or any kind of a agreement that you have with SAP, SAP will enable you with a predefined set. They call it as a API. Okay. Now, for example, Chintan, can you just search for sales onto the search bar, please? Okay. Now, here I wanted to go with the sales. Now, what kind of a sales I want to go with? Okay. So, everything which is related to the sales would be present over here. Now, what is that sales will give me? Or
Data
what
of
is,
a particular sales order.
yeah. So let's go with the second. Yeah, you can go with that. Okay. Now, what is that SAP is giving me? SAP has given me a sales order. Okay, sales orders. What does it say? Record sales interaction around the quotes and the orders. Okay. Now, if I am creating it from a scratch, I need to take everything. Okay. But what SAP has given me? Basically a BTP. Okay. What it has given me? It will give me a API reference where I can see how is the data available and what kind of a schema is required for me. Can you just go with the check schema view, Chintan, please? Onto the introduction. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is that I need? Okay. What type of a data I need? Whether I need a string, whether I need an information cycle, the buyer ID, invoices. This is my customer order schema. If you go scroll down, Chintan, can you do that? Few more. Okay, for create, for update, for the customer order item, these are all the kinds of a schema that is already available. Now what I have to do is I have to connect this schema. For me, if my integration, okay, if my integration vertical is present for me, what I can do is I can avail this API hub into my BTP using the connector, make the data available from the database and use the schema. All I have to do is put these three things in place and make a workaround to get the existing schema. So this is what is called as the APIs. Okay, so this is where I don't have to put in lot of efforts for defining my own schema, defining my limitations, or let's say defining the data types or all kinds of requirements for from the DB perspective. But what I can do is I can use the API hub in order to put the things in place and utilize it. It will lessen my efforts to create a schema and the definitions. Okay. Chintan, can you just go to the slide, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, yeah. So this is where we have the APIs in place. Sometimes this APIs are not only referring to the API hub schemas, APIs could also be referring to the any kind of a third party integrations also. Okay. For example, let's say I want to have a Google Maps integrated in my application. So what we have, I have a API. Okay. Let's say Google Map API. That API can also be bought under my umbrella of a BTP via the integration. Okay, so this is where your APIs come in picture. Now the cloud management tool feature set overview. Cloud management tool represents the group of the technologies designed for managing SAP BTP. This cloud management tools refers to your IS and IPS. Okay, now when I say IS and IPS, this is a kind of a identity provider management system. For example, let's say if I am logging, okay, for example, let's say I'm logging into the TCS system. How do I do it? You all must be having the TCS systems, right? So how do you log into your systems? They would have provided you with your email IDs with the domain name as @tcs.com, right? Do you do that or not?
Yes.
So @tcs.com is a kind of a domain that exists onto some of the cloud management tools. Now when I'm saying the cloud management tool, it could refer to your AD or the Azure directories where you are already authenticated. Like once you log in with your system, what it is doing, it is identifying you as a user, you as an authenticated user, to log into that particular system via your valid credentials. Now once you have that, what you will do, you'll be able to use the Outlook, you'll be able to use some of the services, some of the portals that are available for TCS as an organization. So how it is managed, it is managed by a cloud management tools. Okay, so we have the hyperscalers in picture. Okay, so whether you are coming from your success factors as a system, whether you are coming from your Azure as a system, or whether you're coming from AWS as a user, you will still be able to authenticate yourself. And how is that taken care of? That is taken care by your cloud management tools. Okay, so we have admins who will be taking care of. Okay, so the prerequisites and the restriction, can you just go down, Chintan? Yeah. Okay, now we have already seen this BTP account structure. Okay, now when I say the BTP account structure, it is purely onto the agreements that you have with SAP as an organization and TCS as an organization. Okay, for example, let's say today I have a subscription of a Netflix. Okay, so for a user, you as a user, you are available to use the subscription for a month. Okay, whenever you make a purchase of a subscription that says 30 days, okay, that 30 days is a kind of a agreement that you have with Netflix after the after the payment of 199 or 299, whatever the amount is there. So that is a kind of a agreement that you have. Okay, now whenever there is an agreement, if they stop your service, okay, let's say I have passed 10 days and they stop the service. Now after stopping the service, for me, if I'm using it just for 10 days, I still have the right to get the services for the next 20 days. That's what we call it as an agreement. I stand by. Okay, so that is a kind of a agreement that every organization will have with SAP when they are using the business technology platform, depending on to the models that they have opted for. Chintan, can you go to the Discovery Center, please? Okay, now whether it is a CPEA, okay, here the enterprise agreement, whether you are onto the subscription model, whether you are onto your consumption model, whether you are onto pay as you go, these are referring to the agreements, or they are referring to the types of models that you are that you have opted for. Okay, so you are entitled for that duration, you are enabled for that duration. Okay, if in it between they stop is or whatever the agreement that they have, they can just go and opt for that kind of a services. Chindan, can you go back to the service, please? Okay, so depending on to the enterprise or your trial account, you will be having the agreement and the usage. Okay, whenever you go with the trial account, you have a duration of a 90 days. Okay, earlier it was 365 days as an exploration runtime. Sorry, the exploration time frame that you had earlier was for the 365 days. Now it is up to 90 days. For a duration of 90 days, you can use some of the services that are available. Okay, onto the trial environment, we would be having some of the limitations, but when you go with the enterprise account, you will be only using the services that your organization has opted for. Chintan, can you just go back to the earlier slide, please? One below. One more below, please. Can you just go on to this SAP BTP below, two slides below?
This one?
No, a little bit down. Yeah, okay, here. That's fine. Okay. The SAP BTP global account is the highest level of account management and can be of a type enterprise or the trial. Okay, so the enterprise or the trial is referring to the agreement that you have. Okay, so the legal terms are there when you use this. The trial account allows you to try many of the SAP XaaS for free, whereas an enterprise account is associated with the customer or the partner and is the level at which services can be purchased. Now, if you want to know about what kind of a services that you are entitled with or what kind of a exploration extent that you have, you can always switch back to the discovery center and search for it. Okay, Chintan, can you just go back to the home?
All these services are free of cost available. These are infrastructure available by various infrastructure providers.
I think Swapnil has a question.
Okay.
Swapnil, you can unmute yourself.
Sorry, yeah. I mean, not a question pertaining to what you are informing us about. I just wanted to know how much longer will this session continue? The reason is we'll be starting the project work. So
yeah. I know we are overshoot by 11 minutes. Okay, and we just today started a bit late, so we stretched it. Probably we'll continue with tomorrow. Maybe this is the last slide what we are covering today. So,
okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, because I would not like to miss anything. It's a good session.
Definitely. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll try to speed up, okay? Keeping the time frame in consideration. Okay.
No problem. That's fine. Yeah. So okay, I'll take up this one. Okay, so we have we have services and they're deployed at the space level. Okay, and when we go to a discovery center, when you check it out, all the free and free tier services, all these services are freely available, and that's what it means. That trial account allows you to try out many of the services, infrastructure as a services for free, where enterprise can be account is associated with the customer or partner, and level with the resource and service can be purchased. Okay, so there's a difference between always free means free for everything, and free tier means if you have a official account with the SAP partner, and so these are the services you can get it free on your TCS account, okay, freely available, but not on your trial account. Okay, so there is a slight difference between here, but which we can try it out if we can get the TCS access, okay, a TCS BTP access from the TCS side of it, and these are the services, the free tier we can available free of cost. Okay, yeah. So maybe for today probably we'll stop it here. If you have any questions, maybe we'll wait for a minute and probably we'll close the sessions.
Chintan, I would like to add something onto here.
Yeah.
See, for your personal exploration, I would suggest you to go with your Gmail IDs, because your corporate IDs might be connected to some of your S user. They could be entitled to your client IDs. They could be using. So for your personal exploration, I would say that you could go with your Gmail accounts. That's one of the suggestion I would say. Will that be fine, Chintan?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so whatever we can do it with the personal accounts, we can try it out, and something is required, we can always get back to the company and we can request them, because of this scenario I would like to try this out, and maybe company will allow depending on the scenario, and the access can be taken forward. Team, any questions do we have, or maybe are we good for today to wrap up the sessions? Any feedback in general? Thank you all. Thank you for the joining.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.